Well, we are back with another episode of Upper Left Sports. I know it's been a little bit of a break since our last video. And of course, the setup is different too. I'm rocking solo today. Take a look at our last video, the pinned comment in there, as well as the pinned tweet on our Twitter. We've had a lot of things going on over the last couple weeks, couple months here. And so that really breaks it down as to what's happened. But going forward through the off season, I'm going to be trying to bring you a lot more solo videos. And then as we get into the season, we'll be back to our normal setup with both of us back on the show. So look forward to that. But we're going to try and keep that content coming for you guys. So if you like what you see today, do us a huge favor. Like the video. Hit that subscribe button. Let us know you're still there. And we're going to keep this content coming for you. So let's jump into this. It's been an interesting offseason for the Zags, to say the very least. The Zags are coming off a Sweet 16 exit, a loss to Arkansas, and it was a heartbreaker. 74-68 was the final score of that one, and just a very frustrating game to say the least, but we'll go ahead and leave it at that. And it didn't stop there, man. This offseason, it's been a little interesting for the Zags. The last couple years, you've been very used to these huge recruiting classes coming in. Jalen Suggs, Chet Holmgren, Julian Strother, just all these guys, and it just seemed year after year was a top recruiting class, and that hasn't been the case coming in 2022-2023 season. We talked about this earlier during this past season, that it wasn't a reason to panic not seeing the recruiting class for this year. The Zags have a ton of talent on their bench. Nolan Hickman, Dom Harris, who's coming off an injury. You know he's going to be hungry to get back on the court as well. Hunter Salas, who is just absolutely popping at the end of the year. His defensive ability is just something that we're going to love to see. He made JD Notae's life just really, really tough in that Sweet 16 game, and his offense is going to show up. He's going to be a great player. So they kind of have that recruiting class on the bench. But then you notice all 5 starters from this year's team declared for the draft. I think it's the first time that Gonzaga has seen that happen with all 5 starters declaring. We know for sure Chet Holmgren is staying in the draft. He's a guaranteed top 5 pick, likely a top 3 pick in my opinion as well. And then Andrew Nembhard did say he will be forgoing his last year of eligibility and pursuing pro basketball, So what he did in the tournament for his game, showing NBA scouts his ability to push the tempo and stay in control, it's absolutely massive for his draft stock. So hopefully we see him. I think there's a very good chance we see him sticking on an NBA roster coming into this year. Now, that being said, we also didn't really see transfers yet, which in this year, we have 1,400 players, over 1,400 players in the transfer portal. And the Zags haven't got anybody yet. So I know a lot of Zag fans were really wondering kind of what was going on. Everything changed in the matter of just 1 hour on Sunday. And the first domino to fall was the former 5-star recruit, LSU center that transferred, Efton Reid. This is a great, great player. Of course, LSU saw all 13 of their scholarship players transfer after they fired their coach, Will Wade. So this is a blessing for Gonzaga. Efton Reid, like I said, former 5-star recruit. He was the number 3 center in his class. Comes in at 6'11", 238 pounds. So he brings some great size to the Zags in a year that it's going to be very needed. Of course, you're losing Chet Holmgren, the nation's best rim protector, one of the most efficient scorers in college basketball. There's no replacing Chet. There's one Chet Holmgren on this planet, and we're going to see him in the NBA. Looking forward to him doing just great things there. You also have Drew Timme in the NBA draft right now. He declared. We don't quite know what his decision is going to be. Personally, when I read his announcement letter that he was declaring for the draft, to me, it did seem like maybe he was really set on pursuing pro basketball, but everything depends on the draft feedback that these guys get. Drew Timme, Julian Strother, Rasir Bolton, all 3. The Zags are kind of waiting to see what happens with that. So I think that's been a little bit of a reason we have seen a slow start to kind of this recruiting process in the transfer portal, if you will. Efton Reid, though, comes in. He's going to do great things for this program. You look at his stats, and they may not pop off the screen to you. 6.3 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, just under a block a game. A lot of that is due to the team that LSU had last year. Of course, they did make the tournament, but it was a team that had a number of struggles. They ranked 190th in the country in assist and 279th in the country in 3-point percentage. Both of those things severely hamper a skilled big like Efton Reid. He is a below the rim player, very, very skilled, and that requires spacing. And it's just something that the LSU did not have last year. He's a really, really good post player. Great footwork, like I said. He's got drop steps. He can step through off the drop step. He's got floaters inside the free throw line. Great touch on the hook shots out to 10, 12 foot range. So when you see him come to Gonzaga, we're going to see a much, much more up-tempo offense, of course, one of the most lethal pick-and-roll teams in the country. And the spacing is just always going to be there. That's one thing that the Zags really emphasize on. We've seen, obviously, Drew Timme is the best post scorer in college basketball over the last 2 years, most likely. Last year, for sure. And I've said it over and over and over. He had the best post footwork in country. So if Drew Timme is to leave, Efton Reid is not going to come in and replace his stats. I don't think anybody can come in and just automatically be that best post scorer in the country. We're very fortunate in Spokane to have watched Drew Timme if he is done. But if he is to come back as well, Efton is still a great fit because he has that ability to step outside. He's got a jumper, mid-range jumper's pretty smooth. 3-point capability. He was 5 of 20 on the year, so 25%. But the shot looks pretty smooth, so I think that is something that will translate. Especially, we've seen a lot of guys come into Gonzaga and improve their jump shot as well. So I think we really see him expand that part of his game, and those two can be just a lethal combo together. But if he is gone, Efton's going to be obviously a huge piece for the Zags to come in and have an experienced big that can give you valuable minutes and really carry some of that scoring and help this team keep moving forward. I mean, if Drew Timme comes back, you have Efton Reid, you're automatically back in that conversation for one of the better teams in the country. With the decisions that are yet to be made in the NBA draft, maybe they're not top 5 in the preseason, but this will be a ranked team and they will be getting better, especially as the young guys get those minutes throughout the season. So I, for one, I'm looking forward to this year, looking forward to see how Efton Reid fits in the offense. He's going to be a great piece for the Zags. Now, I said this all happened an hour on Sunday, so just maybe an hour after Efton's commitment, we saw another commit to the Zags, and that is the number 47 recruit in the 2023 class. That's 6'6" shooting guard out of California, Dusty Stromer. We talked about Dusty in our recruiting video in the past year. This is a huge get for the Zags. 4-star recruit right now, but give him his senior year. I think there's a very good chance we see him earn that 5th star. This guy is a walking bucket, and he fits the Zags so well. We talk about a lot on the show how the Zags go after and they recruit a particular type of player that fits the program. The Zags have just certain values that they have always done a good job of getting players that fit. They're not just throwing their name in the hat with every top 10 recruit. They're finding the best recruits that fit their program. One of my favorite stories I've ever heard about a high school athlete, college recruit. We talked about this with Dusty Stromer, but obviously we know COVID happened. It's been a very rough couple years for everybody. Dusty actually didn't get a sophomore season of basketball in California due to COVID. Everything was shut down. This man took the entire year to train and transform his body, and he was so committed to it. His grandma lives with them. So while training throughout that entire year in COVID, he slept in a tent, lived in a tent in his yard, not to bring COVID home to his grandma. And if that just doesn't scream a Zag to you, I mean, just dedicated to his game, dedicated to his family, that is just a Zag through and through. So, Dusty, obviously, this is a commitment that might have surprised some people. I think a couple months ago, we saw Jared McCain go to Duke. Of course, Dusty right next to UCLA. Arizona was hot on him as well. So Tommy Lloyd down there. We knew Tommy Lloyd was going to go after a lot of the same players as the Zags. But the Zags do land this one in Dusty Stromer. And as I said, he is a walking bucket. His junior year averaged 21.8 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 1.5 steals. You can't get much better than that in college, especially for a non-point guard, a guy that plays off the ball, but his game is very, very well-rounded. One of my favorite things as well, I read about him, his coach had some great comments on him. He is one of the most coachable athletes, and his ability to lead a team but not be a prima donna was something that his coach brought up. And again, that just fits the Zags, because when you come in, this is not a team where you come in and necessarily get 20 shots a game your freshman year. You are playing with a bunch of dudes on your team, so you have to know how to integrate yourself into a team, how to play without the ball, and still be effective in a game. You watch Dusty's tape, and as I said, this guy can get buckets anywhere. He actually said himself that when he committed, he really said he feels he can fit that Corey Kispert mold for the Zags, which I know from the Zag fans, we all want to see another Corey Kispert. Corey, of course, one of the best players to come through Gonzaga in recent years, now doing great things for the Washington Wizards. He actually set the Wizards rookie record for three-pointers made. So if Dusty can come in and fit that mold, that's going to be something that I know we will all be very, very happy to see. And it's not something that, is not a possibility. This is a guy who shot 38% from three in high school, his junior season. He can do it in a multitude of ways. Very, very clean jumper off a catch and shoot. He can create his own shot off the dribble. His dribble pull-up in transition is super, super smooth. And one of the things he did during that sophomore season where he just trained all year, he did a very good job, like I said, transforming his body. He increased his vertical. He can get up and finish above the rim now as well. And he knows how to exploit his size as well. He's got a very, very clean post fadeaway jumper. When you're 6'6", you're going to get a lot of size mismatches in college. You won't quite have that mismatch as much you get that mismatch in high school. You won't get it as much in college, but having that shot in your arsenal, it is a very, very difficult shot, but one that you're going to get looks at, and it's going to help his game, because you can't sit on just the jumper outside. You have to respect his drive, and that opens up a lot of options for him. So huge, huge recruit, the first commitment of the 2023 class, and the Zags are not done. They are going to keep reloading. So we talk about that as well. The Zags are still in on two very, very big transfers right now. First, you have the number 6 transfer per Evan Maya, and that is Tyrese Hunter, freshman point guard transferring from Iowa State. He actually put the Zags on his top 6 list, so we are really looking forward to see how that one shakes out. And in addition to that, you also have Kevin Mccaller from Texas Tech, and he is ranked the number 3 transfer, by Evan Maya. Very, very talented guard, wing player, going to bring a ton of experience to whoever he goes to, and he is declared for the NBA draft, and he says if he does not go through with the NBA draft, he will be transferring to either Kansas or Gonzaga. So that is a very, very, we're going to be watching that one. I know the Zags would love to have his services as well. And in addition to that, the Zags also recently offered the number 38 recruit in the 2023 class, and that is 6'4" scoring guard Wesley Yates out of Beaumont, Texas. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this. Obviously, I think the Zags are just getting started. A little bit of a late start, seeing how things shaking out with NBA decisions, but they are active. They are looking to build this team, and I can tell you what, the Zags are not going anywhere. Mark Few is ready to reload and make another run at this thing. So as we see these decisions shake out, we see kind of the transfers shake out as well. I will be bringing you a full roster breakdown as we get closer to the season as well. So drop a comment. Let us know what you're thinking about Efton Reid and Dusty Stromer. Let us know how you feel about these NBA decisions we have coming up. And let us know how you feel about next year's team. I know the offseason can be long. We're all excited to watch the Zags. But definitely keep an eye out. I'm going to be bringing you more videos throughout the season. Like we said, if you like the content, man, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you see the videos when they are posted for you. And we will be here. It's going to be a long off season, but we can't wait for November to come back around.